What's up, YouTube? It's your dog, Christian Morris, back for another video. So cringe. Alright, so today I want to talk about and get your opinion on what the next option for my company should be. Alright, first of all, I'm going to give you some context and backstory of what's happened in the last 12 months, give you a quick fill-in of the project we have just finished, and then give you the insight for what opportunities we have going forwards. And I would love, especially if you are a content creator coach or a sales team coach yourself, I'd be intrigued to hear your comments on this because they're the two opposite sides of this story. All right, so quick overview. 13 months ago, we expanded our sales team by hiring, this was our third hiring round for sales guys specifically. We hired 10 people in one shot with a new system where it allowed them to take full control over this, and we were going to take people from no skill all the way up to trained sales guys with an in-depth course that we were paying them to do and all this sort of stuff. Long story short, 3 months later, they were all gone. We binned 100K in that process and then spent the next 9 months selling out of that hole, recouping the money, and so net we lost about 250 grand, which was quite painful. We have then spent the last 3 months creating a system to reduce the bottleneck of our specific company's biggest issue, which is that we lose half of our clients this time of year every year. Maybe a third, but give or take a third to a half, something like that. And we have just finished the project that was, which was a monumental task, but it's done. And so now we are looking to the future. So the options are, and this is the order I think is going to be best to actually do this. Build a new sales team through a new method. I'm reaching out directly to sales coaches and saying, hey, you have people who have paid you to learn a skill that are now looking for their first role. We have a proven system which doesn't require experience but does require skill and proof of it to be able to do. Let's match up. That is working for us to get through candidates who are willing to put their money where their mouth is in terms of proving their drive to learn something, and then also to show that they're the type of person that would fit well in our team, right? We have successfully found 2 closers doing this, and I'm getting much more promising results than I was before, and this time no capital or very little capital risk. A trial now costs us in the region of £1,000 plus some time and effort from me. I think that makes the most sense because we have just spent the last year, after we got out of the hole, we then did a price fix, a price raise of 50%, which didn't change any of our closing metrics. And that helped with us selling our way out of the hole and getting everything out. It was great. And now we have a much better money model that this works at even lower close rates, which is good. So we have this new system that is working, getting people together. And I think doing that will solve the problem because I can only sell so much individually, right? If I bust my nut, I can make 20 sales a week. And then the company is capped at $1 million a year, right? That's not going to quite do it for where we want to be. So we're going to need 5 to 10 salespeople to do 2 to 3x what I could do by myself, which is totally cool. I'm happy to do that because the finances now work for it. So that's step 1. Then step 2 is increasing the leverage of our sales process. So we've already got ideas about how we could increase the number of calls per person per night. So at the moment, our setters are taking in the region of 7 to 8 calls a night, and closing anywhere from 7 to 12 in a week. If we could halve or third our call time per client, that means we can take 2 to 3x of the number of calls. So we will scale without having to scale the team, which is pretty good. And we can do that once the system is working and paying for itself, and we've got these guys and girls in selling and the company's working great. How would we go about doing that? Current idea is having a VSL for the explain section of our process, what it is we offer and all that sort of stuff. So our sales guys only have to come in and create motivation and help people decide to make a decision, and then say, yeah, I think this is going to be perfect for you for X, Y, and Z reason. Watch this video, it's going to explain everything, and then at the end there's a link if you would like to join our free 6-week program, right? And you can leave a deposit there. And that would streamline the process and make their job much more efficient. So then everyone can earn more for the same effort. Win, win, win. The next thing I'm looking at is we have just paid $2,000 about 6 weeks ago for something called a results accelerator. The purpose of this is to be able to run ads where people will buy a low ticket item to then watch content that will help them come to the conclusion that we can help them further. So essentially they are buying something. The videos will be loads of value and each one getting them to hopefully want to watch the next one. And long story short, they watch the whole thing and hopefully buy without a sales call ever being needed. And then that would allow us to just scale without a sales team down this channel. And it would be, how good at marketing are we? Which is essentially e-com brands, right? Drop shipping e-com brands is how good is your marketing. But instead of a 30% markup, we've now got a margin of 50%, which is massive. After the cost to acquire a customer. So we've really got like 80%, maybe more. Oh, actually, yeah, we got rid of the sales people. It's like 80% of our lifetime value of a customer that we could put towards ads, which would be really, really cool. And then the last thing, so that one's tangential, which could run alongside it. And if anyone needs the help, we can then go into the sales call, right? And it would just drastically increase close rates too. And then the last step is content. Now, content would be awesome because right now people come in don't knowing who we are at all, right? We've got such an amazing offer that sells enough on its own with someone to guide you through, is this the right decision for you? If we had content, people likely would be willing to buy without a sales call. There would be some people. That would be really handy. It would also mean that lots of other people can do their due diligence on us and likely would pay, but just have some Q&As, right? So they've come in qualified, they know exactly what the product is, they know how it works, they want it, but there's just a unique scenario for them that they want clarifying. And that would be really great. So that would increase the number of leads that we get. Not that that is a problem for us, so that's not the reason for us to do this, but it would make our sales process even better, which would then allow us to increase prices because people are warmer. And then we could increase prices, and that hopefully would then say close rates would come back down to where they are now, but because people are more motivated, they'll pay more for that same amount, that same service. So those are the options that we have, and I'd be really intrigued from people who are ahead of us, who are doing 8 figures a year, or coaches who teach both sides of this, the sales approach or the content approach. What would you do first? I think what I've just said, that's the order we're going to do this in. And the limiting factor is how long it takes us to get it right and to get systems that actually work. More, better than new. I don't want shiny objects, but content keeps coming up. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll check in on this in a year and see where we're at. All the best. Peace.